KCC105, week number 5. We're talking about CPI and inflation. 3 topics for this video. We got to find the CPI data. The website is pretty dense. Once we get that, we're going to convert some prices and make sure we keep a brain about it, keep common sense, do our answers seem right, kind of place them. So first step, CPI and inflation. Where's the data that we can measure inflation with? There's a government website for the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's got tons of data. The problem is this website, data.bls.gov, it's pretty dense. So for instance, if you just go to data.bls.gov, you'll see all sorts of information. I mean, too much. I'm a little overloaded. I'm a numbers person, but this place is overwhelming for me. So we got to break it down here. We got to break it down. First thing to know is at the very top, you're going to click Urban Consumers CPI. Okay, we can find that right there, right at the top. But shoot, it doesn't get much easier. We got 6 different choices. Which one are we looking for? And you'll see here that you want to click the data finder. So if we're back there at the top, there is for the CPI, there is a data finder here. You click that. And now they get a nice list of all these different CPI measurements. Just go to the top right here, city average. And so this is the CPI for all city, in the cities across the U.S., we can measure the change in inflation over time. And here right now it's set to 2015 to 2017, but we can change that if you want to. If we need to go back in time, for instance, if you have prices in 1970, we can do that. It goes all the way, 1913. We got a lot of data here at our fingertips. And also down here, you have it in a nice table form, and there's an XLS. We can download that in a spreadsheet, and that's going to be helpful for the week number 5 assignment. So just to refresh on those steps right there, if you're at the data.bls.gov, you'll see this Urban Consumers top, data finder right there, and the top one here, the city average, all urban consumers, you just click that, and now you have CPI data, in other words, inflation data at your fingertips. Not bad. However, let's see how we can use that to our advantage. So for instance, let's see that in application. So I have a grocery store advertisement here from 2007. And you'll see some of those, check out some of you want some Pringles? Great, we got the prices here, it's tuna fish, Gatorade, all those sort of things. How can we convert these 10-year-ago prices to current day prices using that inflation? So we need to use that CPI data that I showed you from the government website, and we need to find it in 2007 and 2017. All right, let's get back to the website. So right here, well, this is only 2015, and that website, or the advertisement I have is 2007. So let's click this and go back to 2007, update. And it thinks for a second, and the graph gets a little messy. Ignore that for a second. But go down here. This is where the actual numbers are at. You'll see in 2007, and I'll just start with January. You could say, oh, what about August? Just start at the beginning of 2007. In January 2007, the CPI was 202.416. All right. You'll write that down. We'll come back to that in a second. And then current day, today, and this is September. It has not been updated, but come back in a couple months, you'll find October and November CPI. We have 246.819. Okay, we have CPI data from the past when that grocery store was written, the advertisement was written, and we have CPI data for current day. All right, so let's go back here. We've got the past CPI, we have the current day CPI. What's our next step? Once we've found the data, then we need to divide those numbers. And be careful. When you divide, there's 2 different ways to divide. We could do the small number divided by the big number, or you could do the big number divided by the small. Which one? I talked about you need to think about your answer. This is a perfect example. Wait a minute. What do prices do over time? Prices go up. That's called inflation. So if prices are going up, you're going to want to have the big number on top of your division problem right here. You want the big number on top. We can divide 2 different ways, but think about it. Prices go up over time, so divide by the bigger number, the bigger CPI on top. And that's a basic division problem. We do not need to do anything fancy here. You could just take out your calculator and say, okay, 246.819 divided by, okay, what's the other number here? I forgot, 202.416. I've got it. Divide by 202.416 equals, and I get 1.219, and there's a lot more decimals, but I can stick after those first 3. So doing that, 1.219. So far, we just need to use that website, and we need to use a basic calculator, and we've got this. There's one last step. Once you have that division number, we need to multiply it with the price. And we got a lot of prices here. Let's zero in on the tuna fish. Tuna fish costs 89 cents. Multiply it by that CPI number we got, and we have the new price. And in particular, let's make sure we know what that new price means. That new price means if you adjusted the 2007 price for inflation, your tuna fish can cost $1.09 today. Does it actually? Well, potentially not, because inflation doesn't work perfectly. Some things go up, some things go down, but CPI is sort of a benchmark, a guideline to see how prices rise. Let's do one last example. Here's a Chevy S10 pickup from 1990. It cost $7,000. Ask me how I know. And by the way, in this picture, this is the bumper cost extra, apparently. At the very least, if we're doing the conversion, we need to find the CPI values from 1990 and 2017. So we're going to go back to that website. Oops. We need to go back to this website here, the government data, the BLS data. You'll see I have to go 2007 to 2017. All right, well, I'm talking about 1990 pickup, so I go down here to 1990, I update, and it shoots out a lot of numbers. A lot of numbers. 1990, at the very beginning in January, 127.4. So I go back here, and I say, okay, 127.4, and we already did the 2017. And I got those numbers. I need to divide. Well, there's two different numbers. Prices go up. So I'm going to use this one with a bigger number on top. I take out a calculator. I'll let you do this. You divide at 1.937. After you divide, you multiply that by the original price. 7,000 was the original price of the truck. Multiply by that CPI number, 13,561. There's some pennies. I'm going to round it off. That number, that is my adjusted for inflation price. How could you talk about this in sort of a streamlined language? You could say adjusted for inflation. That pickup today would cost $13,561. Three-step process. You're going to find the CPI numbers. You're going to do a division right here, and you need to multiply by that by a price to see how prices are adjusted for inflation. If you have any questions about that whole process, send an email. But this process you will use several times on week 5 comprehension check.